Hello everyone, this is Rekha Goyal once again in front of you with the poem A Thing of Beauty written by John Cage. This is class 12 poem of English core for CBSE. John Cage is well-known poet of romantic genre and a poem as the title goes, A Thing of Beauty. Though here the poet is all talking about the beautiful things around us and what according to him beauty, that is what he is trying to tell us. So let's see what he says. As long as introduction is concerned, this poem has been taken from Keats' poem Endymion, which is based on the Greek legend. Now here the poet says about beauty. According to him, beauty is a source of constant joy and it can be found anywhere. Like there are no specific things which are a source of joy. According to the poet, and we do all believe, I hope that the ability to transform life, all the beautiful things which are in this world, they have the ability to transform life, and these things have the power. They have the power to remove the negativity. When we see anything which we find beautiful, we don't think about anything in this world other than that only thing. Whether it can be an object, it is nature, the stories and the deeds. This is what all the poet is talking about. As we are well familiar with the saying, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Now moving on to the very uh, first two lines. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothing. The poet says that he does talk about the permanent nature of beautiful things which give us everlasting joy. The things which we find beautiful, they always leave an impression in our heart, in our mind, and we keep on thinking about those things. And the most important thing is we're not thinking only, we do feel happy. And the loveliness of these things keeps on increasing and never fades. The beautiful sight of beautiful thing is stored in our memory forever. And at times it happens that we are feeling so relaxed, we are happy, and people may consider that why the person is so happy. There is no matter of happiness. But we at times we do recall the things which are beautiful. And those beautiful things always give us happiness. They never pass into nothingness. Nothingness here refers to worthless. Fine? They are not futile. They give immense pleasure and immense joy. But will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet wit. Now, all these beautiful things, they mean a lot to us. They give us peace, just like a quiet, shady place. The bower here refers to a quiet, shady place. Suppose when if we are feeling so hot and if we stand under a shady place, the kind of soothness we get, the kind of freshness we get, that is immense and that is not measurable at all. And these things give us a sleep full of sweet dreams. And thinking of the results in making our body and mind healthy. Like when we are relaxed, when we are fresh, we are in peace, so definitely we are healthy. Because the thought of feeling good provides us tranquility. That means peacefulness and peaceful both the ways, physically as well as mentally. So here the poet says, and has and quiet breathing, relax. We feel ourselves in a different world which is full of solace, which is full of serene, which is full of purity. Now this is glossary. Bower means a shady place under a tree. Then past is turn, nothingness, no value. Breathing is satisfaction. So the poem is a good example of couplet, a rhyming couplet, I must say. A B B C C. And the poetic devices, we are all familiar with the poetic devices. So here in this particular stanza, we have alliteration, sleep, sweet, and metaphor as well, bower, quiet, which refers to peacefulness. Now moving on to the second stanza. Therefore on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Therefore, and that is why. That is why here refers to, because we are surrounded by beautiful things around us, and these things give us immense pleasure, immense joy. And this is the reason why every morrow here refers to the following day or the morning, every morning are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Every morning we feel so fresh and we are connecting. Wreathing here refers to, we are connecting with the flowery band refers to nature. So we do connect ourselves with nature, and that is how we bind ourselves with earth also. Because the beautiful memories of the sweet dreams, help us to strengthen our bond with the earth. And that is why the poet says that every morning we prepare ourselves to have a connectivity with nature. And we know that beauty always fascinates every person, every man. Now in this line the poet talks about, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble natures of the gloomy days. So despondence here refers to sadness, hopelessness. So he says that at times human feels that he is hopeless. No, he doesn't find any good, any positivities around him. So he says that this sadness of the inhuman dearth of noble nature. Why is this sadness and why is this hopelessness? Because it is because of inhuman dearth. Dearth here refers to lack, and noble natures here refers to the values. Human being lack with the values, and that is why he is surrounded with hopelessness and he suffers a lot, because whatever a man does, he is the root cause of all his sufferings. No, he doesn't get any sufferings and pain from somewhere else. He himself is responsible for that. So the poet says that in spite of all this sadness which he himself is the root cause of, then apart from this also there is beauty in this world. So here we have a word despondence. Let's enhance the various words: despondency, hopelessness, gloom, dejection, depression, despair, and desperation and sadness. I hope to some extent I have increased your vocab. Now here the poet says, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways made for our searching, we ourselves are moving towards the darkened ways. These are all unhealthy and darkened, evil ways. We can, darkened ways here refers to evil ways. So here the poet says that life is full of uncertainties. We never know what happens the very next moment. And this disappointment and losing faith result from our own actions. That means, again, I would say that we ourselves are responsible for whatever we do, for good and bad. We harm ourselves by following unhealthy and wicked path, wicked ways, evil ways. At times when we do bad for ourselves, bad for somebody else, and that results, if we are doing something bad for anybody, that results in bad only. As we sow, so shall we reap. So this is what we are going to get when we harm ourselves by following. Nobody else is responsible for us, it is we ourselves. Yes. In spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the power from our dark spirit. Yes, yes means in spite of all this, in spite of all these gloomy vices, whatever the vices human have, because human nowadays we see that human lacks virtues, human lacks noble qualities. In spite of that also, some shape of beauty moves away means takes away the pall, the covering, the veil from our dark spirit. That means, in spite of all these negativity and bad things, evil things, there are beautiful things in this world which takes ourselves, takes us from negativity to positivity. So here the poet again, once again, he says that some wonderful sight of nature help us to shed sad and grim thoughts. So there and things are there which are beautiful. Now here not necessary that we are talking about thing. It can be something abstract which we find very beautiful. As I told you in the very beginning, that the beauty lies in the eyes of behold. Let us have a quick glance at the glossary. Morrow is morning, the next day, the following day. Rethink is weaving, surrounding, encircle. Despondence, depressed, gloomy, sad, dark. Dearth is lack, deprived. Noble nature is values, great qualities, virtues we can call. Then darkened is evil and pale is covering or veil. So we are again here very much. We have with us poetic devices, so many. Anaphora is there. Anaphora means repetition of certain. It's not repetition, no. In repetition, when two words are continuously, consequently they are repeated, it is repetition. But in anaphora, a word which is repeated again after and after. Of noble, of all. So here of and of has been repeated in that way. So that is how it is anaphora. Alliteration is very much there, noble nature, and some shape is there. Metaphor, wreathing a flowery band. Then imagery, sensory effect of beautiful things. Now we appreciate, we see with our eyes the beautiful things and we appreciate and we feel that happiness into our heart. So really I must say the poem is full of imagery. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such are the hoods. Now here the poet is talking about the beautiful things which are very much present on this earth. For example, the sun, the moon, trees old and young, whether they are plants or they are trees grown up, sprouting a shady boon. And all these trees, the old and the young trees, they make a shady boon. Boon here refers to a blessing. They are like blessing to us. In this dark world, these things always inspire us. For simple sheep here refers to innocent sheep, and metaphorically it refers to as Jesus Christ was shepherd, and how soulful was he, how innocent was he, how pure he was. So this is what here it has been mentioned, and such are daffodils. Daffodils, the flowers. So all these things give such a beauty to this world, and because when we see all these beautiful things, we are inclined towards these things. We leave all the negativity and we move towards the positivity. We have an inclination, we are tempted towards all these things, because when we look at these things, we always have positive vibes. With the green world they live in and clear rills, that for them themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. Now, the green world is very much talked about nature, where all these things are found, all beautiful things are found. And clear rills here refers to the streams, and clear here refers to pure, transparent, that for themselves a cooling covert. Themselves here refers to for the people, for the human, for the man. Cooling covert here refers to a shady place, a place of shade, a place of feeling solace, a place of feeling pure, make against the hot season. Now, hot season is metaphorically used here for all the vices. Vices refers to all the negativity. So, all the beautiful things which the poet is talking about is a cooling covert, it's a blessing. It's a blessing for against, sorry, it's a blessing against the hot season, because against all this negativity, all these positive things provide us that yes, the world has more of positivity than negativity.
Let's have a quick look at the glossary of this stanza. Begins with boon, that is blessing, green world, that is nature. Rills refers to small streams, and then break is a thick moss of ferns. So all the positive words we have there. Then moving on to the poetic devices, the very first thing is alliteration. We have many alliteration examples of alliteration in this poem. Sprouting shady, simple sheep, then cooling covert, and then moving on to antithesis. The example is old and young. Then imagery we have trees giving shade, scenic beauty of daffodils and clean streams. When we see the shade of the tree, it soothes us, and then scenic beauty of daffodils. It is such a present scene to see, and that definitely fills our hearts with happiness. Then clean streams, it is good imagery and really which fills our hearts with piousness, freshness, purity. So that is what all imagery is about.
The mid forest brake, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. The brake here refers to the bushes of fern. So the mid forest is flooded with fern. That means wherever you see it is all green. Rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. It is rich, equipped with a sprinkling, is a scattering of fair musk rose blooms. That means as far as we see, we do find musk roses. And these bushes growing in the forest and the musk roses scattering, blooming, all are eternal sources of joy and pleasure. And these things, these fern and musk rose, add magnificence and beauty to the nature. Now, then, the poet talks about all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink, pouring unto us from the heavens' brink. Now, what tales the poet is talking about? The tales that we have heard or imagined. That means the tales which we get to know about our ancestors. Those tales, that motivation, that inspiration is just like an endless fountain of immortal drink. So, immortal drink is always poured by God. So here the poet says that, and brink refers to edge of the sky, because we believe that God lives in the sky. So here this is what the poet is all talking about, that we have heard so many stories about these people, our dead ancestors, who were heroic and mighty. And so he goes on saying that all these lovely tales that we have heard are such things of beauty as they have a great effect on human spirit. They are always an inspiration to us. So, all the beautiful things like an endless fountain, never ending from the heavens, sent by God Himself, so that mankind may enjoy these precious gifts. So, see the level, see the extension of beautiful things that the poet talk about. See to what extent the poet believes in beauty, believes in good things, which always are a source of inspiration, source of happiness for us. So he relates how beautifully the poet relates uh, beautiful things with happiness. Wherever there is beauty, there is happiness, because beautiful things are always a source of happiness for us, and this source is eternal. It's not for it is never a momentary. It always give us immortal drink, eternal lifetime, forever, it never ends. Let's have a quick look at the glossary. Grandeur, magnificent, of great importance, impressive, mighty means enormous, powerful, immortal is never dying, brink is edge, corner, sprinkling is scattering, dooms is death. Now, this stanza is again very much equipped and very much rich and flourish with poetic devices. Alliteration is there, have heart, metaphor, immortal drinks, and imagery, as the poet is going full of imagery. Imagery is bushes full of musk roses, tales describing valor of fighters. So we can imagine how beautiful it must be. Now let's see what the poet is talking about. What all beautiful things he has talked about: the sun, the source of earth, right? Without sun, we can't exist at all. The moon, a shady thing, beautiful. Moon is a synonym of beauty, as we all know. Old and young trees, which always provide a shade and a blessing of nature. Daffodil flowers, my God, so beautiful scenario it must be. Small clear streams, which also signifies purity, clarity, transparency, piousness, then purity. Mass of funds, I can imagine the greenery in the world, and how the earth is filled with. Quite possible it must be looking like spread on the spread of the green color spread on the earth, blooming musk roses, my God, such a beautiful scene. And then grandeur of mighty deeds. So that's these are the grandeur of mighty deeds. Mighty deeds are always a source of inspiration and motivation for all of us. We are all inspired by, we look at the people, those who are no more, but they did a lot many things for us, and we wish they are motivation for us, and we do think ourselves that we should go ahead looking to them. Now let's see what voices the poet has talked about in the poem. Despondence, malice, lack of noble qualities, virtues, men, that means lack of virtuous men, unhealthy and evil ways, desire to offend others. We are like anything, fighting with others, ready to fight with others. Here we are not talking about the physical fighting. Like we have a race, a cat race. We want to leave everything behind and want to move forward with everyone. We don't want to take everyone, brotherhood. That sense is not there, lacking with that sense. Hopelessness, definitely, and darkness. So, though these things, these vices do exist in this world, but then too, poet is very much optimistic. He is full of romance with nature, and the nature is such a beautiful place, beautiful scenario, beautiful thought, even with which we can lead ourselves to much extent with happiness and joyousness. I hope you must have understood the poem. Thank you very much.